What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Today is Friday. Woo! September 16th, 2022. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first cup. Oh, good morning, Casper. And good morning, Mark. Who else is here? While we're waiting for people to sound off in the chat with our unofficial roll call, I'm going to tell you about a situation yesterday where I took the higher road, and part of me really wishes I hadn't. And I'm going to tell you all about it. Good morning, Cecil. Good morning, Jenny. And of course, we've got jokes from Frank. Good morning, Stacy. We've got topics to discuss. We're going to talk about yesterday and what you're all doing this weekend. Good morning, Gad and Andy, and say all the rest of you, whether you're watching live later or listening. Thank you for coming by. Good morning, Frank. Frank is foreshadowing a little bit. What can I say? I didn't want to check it out on this Funday Friday. I appreciate that. I'm going to take down the Fri-YAYYYYY banner. It was nice to have that up. I started working on a different graphic for the top of the screen yesterday, and it wasn't coming out the way I wanted it, so I bagged it. I don't know what we'll do. We'll do something at some point. Yeah. So I could go back to bed for a while, and I might. I won't, but I could. I have no meetings today. And at the beginning of the week, it was because I'm going to work on this creative project. I'm really hoping to work on this creative project. And I made myself a deal yesterday. I get to work on that creative project that I've been looking forward to doing for weeks if I finish what I need to do with the Flex videos and send them back to Chris. So I'm going to do that first. That's going to be like the first thing I do when I'm done talking to you guys. And then once that's done, it's just this creative project all day, whatever I want to do with it. It's an interesting idea I have for I don't want to call it a new type of content. It's really not, but it's a new direction. So, Stacy's been up since 4 a.m. and would love to go back to bed. I'm sorry about that. That stinks. How many of you out there have problems sleeping? If you do, I'm going to encourage you to check out a book. I don't know this author personally, but I know the book was really helpful for me. I've always slept well, but what I learned in this book helped me sleep great. It's called Sleep Smarter, and the author is Stevenson. It was a New York Times bestseller, might even still be. And not only does he dig into the biochemistry and the psychology and everything related to sleep, he gives you actual stuff you can do. So just to throw out some of the things that I did that helped me sleep, I got some blue blocking glasses, and I wear them before bed, ideally a few hours. The pair I wear primarily are from Zenni Optical, Zenni. And they're not prescription, but they look like prescription glasses. They're fairly comfortable. They're simple. And I think with the blue light blocking, which there's no orange to it, so I could still watch TV. I tried not to watch TV right before bed. But anyway, they were like $30 with shipping. It wasn't bad at all. Andy and Jenny say they sometimes have a hard time sleeping. Good morning, Nathan. I bought blackout curtains and blackout shades for my bedroom. It is dark. I do not keep my phone near my bed. In fact, I keep it on the other end of the house. My alarm clock is turned around facing the wall, so there isn't that light facing me. A weighted blanket, which I don't keep on the bed through the summer, but a weighted blanket is helpful for me. And there's a bunch more stuff. Now, of course, everybody's situation is going to be a little bit different, but I'm just throwing that out there for all of. Okay. So today's Friday, working on that project. Have friends visiting this weekend. Here's the short of it. I've lived in this house, just next month is going to be 10 years. There is no cohesion to the let's call it the decor of my home. And I'm finding that I like being in other people's homes to a certain degree better than my own. So I invited some friends. Some of you know these people. I'm not going to name them. Why am I not going to name them? In part because that tells you they're not at their home, right? This is something that as a security thing has always surprised me. I don't mind telling people when I go away. One, because I live in the middle of the woods. Two, my neighbors keep an eye on my house. Three, I have cameras all over the place. But not everyone's like that. So they're going to come because I like the way their home is decorated. I said, will you come for the weekend? Like I'll put you up and feed you, and these are good friends. And they're like, yeah. So we will see what the plan is. I'm really looking forward to it. Stacy says, my blanket is weighted by cats. I got to be honest. Obviously, she's not here anymore, but Zuza was one of the worst things for my sleep. She did not make my sleep better. And yeah, I know that's not always easy, but cats sleep all day. They don't need to sleep on you. So that's what's going on this weekend. Probably go to some restaurants and take them to some touristy sort of things. It's cold. It's summer and it's 42 degrees here. Go Vermont. What was yesterday? So yesterday I had a few meetings. For as much as I. Good morning, Brian. Good morning, Kelly. Yeah, Kelly says with fibromyalgia, sleeping issues is a symptom. Kelly, I would still encourage you to check out that book. Sean is not just a kind of fly-by-night guy. He really knows his stuff. And it would not surprise me if there are things in that book that would be helpful for you. Ooh, interesting. Gad says, I wear a hat over my head and bit of my nose, partly because it blocks the light, but more so because I get a sinus headache at the slightest breeze across my forehead. That's fascinating. Unfortunate, but quite interesting. So yesterday, had a bunch of meetings, and one of them was a meeting with one of my clients that I asked for. I said, we've been working this thing, and it's going well, and there's three of us kind of working on this in different ways. It's been a while since all three of us got together just to talk about this thing. Let's do it. And the owner was like, yeah, let's do it. So we had our meeting, and it was a great meeting. Once in a while, when people are at meetings for the right reasons, and they're all invested, like you have this wonderful meeting of the minds. And we started off with just kind of like, okay, and we finished the meeting all pumped up with ideas. It was great. So there's actually some cool stuff coming out of it. Because remember, my job is to make my clients money, and we found a way, and I'm excited about that. The book is Sleep Smarter. If you just Google Sleep Smarter, you'll find it. I try not to type in the chat while I'm doing the show. Anything else about yesterday? I had dinner with a friend, hadn't seen him in ages. Talked to him about some business stuff. And so here's the thing I mentioned at the top. All right. And this is still bothering me because it hasn't been 24 hours yet. Some of you might remember beginning of the summer, there was, I think I talked about this. There was a little bit of an altercation. It was not physical, but I was at the gym for a social event. We had a game night, and one of the attendees became a very frustrating person. And after listening to this person's BS for well over an hour, probably closer to two, I called him out. I was like, I was a little nicer than this, but essentially said, you don't know what you're talking about. And I'd watched as we were playing games, he would drift from subject to subject and say things that made no sense that I knew that were playing games had professional backgrounds in, and I would catch their eye and they'd look at me and roll their eyes, and including this man's wife. And so eventually I couldn't take it. Admittedly I'd had a couple beers and it's like, and it didn't go well. To avoid escalating the situation, left and have just done what I would have always advised everyone to do. Just ignore the situation, because there's no benefit here. This is not a person that I'm friends with. Once in a while I'd be at the gym, he would also be at the gym, and I would just ignore him, and it was fine. Yesterday, as I was leaving, he comes up to me. I was like, damn it. And I'm tying my shoes, and he bends down and he reaches his hand out, and he gives a very clearly poor apology. It wasn't about what he did, it was about how I reacted to it. And I was like, and I didn't look at him. I just said, I'm not shaking your hand. And then he insulted me, called me a dirtbag multiple times, and kind of stomped away and was huffy about it. And now I'm not quite sure what to do. Now, I'm glad I did not shake his hand. I'm glad I did not accept his apology, because clearly it was not a real apology. If you apologize to someone and they don't initially accept your apology, because there are things he could have said that I would have accepted his apology. This was not it. But if someone apologizes to you and you reject their apology and they insult you, they weren't really apologizing. Because what would a true apologist say? Blah, 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 I'm sorry. I'm still upset. Well, I hope someday we can bury this. I am truly sorry, right? You would double down on your apology, not retract it. And, well, technically he didn't do that. Not say insulting things to the person that you initiated an apology with. My suspicion is that other people who were at the gym were encouraging this apology, and he didn't actually want to apologize. Good morning, Dennis. Yes. So Gad saying, wasn't there a game night incident a while ago as well? This is the incident that this started at, and this is the individual that created the incident. And so, of course, I've been unpacking this in my head, because I'm sure I'm not alone in this. Someone accosts you, and you review it. You review it pretty much ad nauseum. And I've reviewed it in a couple different ways. I've reviewed it from the self-defense perspective. I'm not thrilled about the fact that I was bent over tying my shoes, but I was thrilled by the fact that my heart rate barely elevated. Despite this person being close enough to touch me, someone I do not trust, I didn't panic. When I made my response, I was calm, I was level. And it's another indication that the work that I've done in martial arts to gain comfort in stressful situations, in other words, to prevent my adrenaline from spiking, has worked, continues to work, and I'm happy about that. And in terms of not escalating the situation, I did the right thing, because I did not change my posture. But if he had chosen to escalate the situation, I was in a very compromising position. And what I probably should have done physically is I probably should have stood up quicker and created some space. And I could have done that without the appearance of escalation. Now, I don't know about you, but I unpack these situations in detail because it helps me. It's a review. How do I do this better next time? I've never had a self-defense scenario where I've been tying my shoes. I've never taught a self-defense scenario where someone's been tying their shoes. Never heard anyone bring that one up. Here's another one. It's a poor position to be in. Granted, you're not there for very long, but quite compromising. So coming back, Brian says, if I drink Mountain Dew too close to bedtime, I have the weirdest and worst dreams. I hate those. Yeah, avoiding caffeine and sugar before bedtime, probably a good idea. But he goes on to say, we're adding a fur baby to our family tonight, little Boston Terrier puppy. Oh boy, here we go. Awesome. Make sure you post pictures. Dennis says, dang, middle of a workout, lost track of time. Happy Friday, everybody. Jenny says, I don't untie my shoes. I leave them tied just right so I can slip them on and off. And Frank says, yeah, well, if you can't make it work with someone as wonderful as you, Jeremy, then there must be something wrong with him. Well, thank you. This person is very much the archetype of extreme self-esteem issues and overcompensates in every way possible. Right? Like this is someone who could not fathom what was happening, and his true character came out. My gut was right. It was not a genuine apology. Gad says, we've recently had a puppy become our newest family member as well. Have a super time together. Awesome, everyone. Well, I'm going to flip over to the jokes. You can feel free to keep chiming in the chat. But Frank gave us jokes, and I want to read them because it's one of my favorite parts of the week. And I don't think I'm alone. All right. September is, what does that say? National Chicken Month. Why did the rooster go to KFC? He wanted to see the chicken strip. That's a strong opening. What do young chickens like to watch? Chick flicks. What do confused chickens lay? Scrambled eggs. Why didn't the chicken go to KFC? It wasn't on her bucket list. Why did the turkey run across the road? To prove it wasn't a chicken. Why did the dinosaur cross the road? Because chickens didn't exist yet. I got lost. Where are we? Here we go. Why did the chicken cross the road? No one wrote. Why did the chicken cross the road? No one knows, but the road will have its vengeance. Why did the penguin cross the road? Because the chicken was busy. Why did the cactus cross the road? It was stuck to the chicken. I hope one day chickens will be free to cross the road without having their motives questioned. There's a joke. It's not quite this context, but there's a comedian. This is an older bit where he talks about the universality of chickens, like in food. He's like, why does everything taste like chicken? Who did that bit? I don't remember. Anyway, Dennis is responding to Jenny's comment about tied shoes. Well, except for my running shoes, you got to tie those suckers tight. And Jenny responds, I'm so not a runner. I would just slip my sneakers right off and take off barefoot if the loose laces were an issue. Well, welcome, Luke. Glad you're here. He says, just in time to finish my second cup. Oh, well. Well, Jenny, the only thing I would respond with is, how comfortable are you running barefoot outdoors? See, here's I'm Jenny's gonna feel like I'm picking on her. I'm not picking on her. Okay. So one of the things that I've had to remind myself as a 43-year-old man is that adults properly tie their shoes. I don't want to. I want to slip them on as well. I find immense frustration in doing things that have to be done all the time and really don't advance anything. I find brushing my teeth to be one of the most tedious things in the world. I do it, and I do it sometimes 5 times a day. It's not always a full brush, but I take care of my teeth. That wins out over the tedium of brushing. But what if we look at tying shoes as a martial artist? If I have to kick somebody unexpectedly, one of the things that I do very differently here in the winter than most people, it's not physical self-defense, but it is self-preservation, is I dress in the winter in such a way that if I had to leave my car, I would be warm enough. I could slide off the road or something, right? I always have a spare set of clothes, but there are plenty of people who will put on barely any clothing because they're going to the gym. And they can handle those quick trips back and forth, from car to gym and gym to car, and then car to home. But what if it doesn't go well? Right. So the loose laces, convenient, comfortable, get it. Safe? No. Something to think about. I'm not telling you to change your mind. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you to think about it. And Gad says, one of the best chicken jokes, Bruce Willis in The Last Boy Scout. I haven't seen that movie in so long. That's a good movie. All right. And hold on, we might save this for Monday. You know what? There's probably not going to be much discussion on this, so I will read this. I did take the time to send it over. I appreciate that. Tomorrow will be National Concussion Awareness Day. Concussions can range from mild to life-threatening, so it's always important to learn the signs and make sure anyone with a concussion gets medical help ASAP. Is it just a bump on the head, right? It's all part of the game, and it's not like it's bleeding. You feel fine. And weren't you wearing a helmet, or it was just grazed, right? How hard could the ground really be? How much damage can a soccer ball really do? It's round and full of air. The truth of the matter is that a concussion can be a serious issue, and they tend to happen during sports more than any other time. National Concussion Awareness Day reminds you to learn the signs and take them seriously. Concussions are serious business. History of National Concussion Awareness Day. Concussions stand out as the single most common type of traumatic brain injury and is known by many names in the medical industry. None of them sound good. Mild brain injury, mild traumatic brain injury, minor head trauma. Not a thing any of us want to see listed on our medical report. Our brains, after all, are us. Treatment is simple enough. You just have to chill out and rest both your body and your mind, which means no video games, no texting, and no schoolwork. No, this isn't a good way to get out of taking that final. Concussions can have some serious repercussions. So National Concussion Awareness Day is a chance to help yourself and others by learning how to identify the signs of a concussion and what to do in the event that someone you know sustains one, or you suspect they may have. As mentioned above, concussions are particularly common amongst those who engage in active sports, like martial arts. How to celebrate, education about how to identify. Your checklist is pretty straightforward. Does the subject have a headache? Did they temporarily lose consciousness? Are they confused or are they processing information slowly? Do they remember what happened? Are they seeing stars or feeling dizzy? Are their ears ringing? Nausea or vomiting? How about their speech? Are they speaking clearly or is there a bit of a slur? These will be your immediate signs, and if any of them are present, get a professional in the field to check on them. Unfortunately, there isn't much one can do in the way of first aid for a concussion. We're going to talk more about that because it's not entirely true. Have them sit or lay down and otherwise remain still, and if they lost consciousness for even a moment, contact a medical professional. Basically, it's a checklist of, is this going on? Do they have a concussion? Yes, maybe. Medical professional. National Concussion Awareness Day is your alert to take care of your brain and teach others how to watch out for each other. All right. So here's the deal. We know a little bit more about concussions than we used to. And here's the thing to remember. Your body is able to heal itself. There are a few things that our body can't do, like grow new limbs or organs. But if something is there and it's intact, you can find a way. Your brain, remember, with brain damage, your brain will rewire itself. Like, we know these things. So the idea that there's nothing to be done for your brain with traumatic brain injuries, which is kind of what the general consensus is BS. Here's what you want to do. All right. So most of you have heard of the ketogenic diet, right? What was keto started for? Does anybody know? Keto was started back in the 1920s as a treatment for childhood epilepsy. What causes epilepsy? Brain stuff not working right. When restricted of sugar, the brain operates in a better way. If you talk to people who have gone keto, and I don't mean, the modern version of keto, which is essentially just the Atkins diet or low carb rebranded. I mean, actually, not subjecting yourself to sugars. In fact, true medical grade keto is so restrictive, you probably should have a experienced nutritionist overseeing you because you're eating less than 20 grams of carbohydrates a day. And there's a lot there. There's a lot to unpack. However, there are plenty of stories of people, including former football players who were terrible. The one that stands out for me is John. He played for the Pats and the Eagles. Anyway, he's talked about this frequently, multiple times. I've heard him talk about this, different podcasts and everything. And bottom line, he was calling people, making the same phone call 5 minutes later because he didn't remember. Somebody put him on this. He's fine. It took a year, 2 years of incredibly restrictive eating, and his brain healed itself. So if we take a big step back from that, and if we look at that, okay, so if the brain will operate better and heal itself in these conditions under the absence of carbohydrates, this is why combat sports, contact sports, should have nothing to do with sugar-based energy drinks. The worst thing you can do as an athlete that might have your head rattled around is drink Gatorade or something similar. Do with that what you will. Thanks for coming by. No comments on that. That surprises me. I figured some of you would chime in. The other thing to remember about concussions is it's not like, oh, any concussion under this line, any really light concussion is just gone. They can stack up. And with the diet that most people eat, they just build. Something to keep in mind. It's not there's not much you can do, but you can create the conditions for your body to heal itself optimally. We've talked about that in a variety of cases, but your brain's no different. So think about that. It says, yes, yes, yes. Concussions aren't cool. Getting knocked out is not cool. It is not a badge of honor. It's going to happen. The one that stands out most for me actually wasn't martial arts. It was skiing. I collided with someone on the slope. So there you go. Orthodoke. I hope you have a great day. No, it was not John Runyon. John, here. Oh, dang it. Why can I not remember this? See, this is one of the difficulties doing the show in the morning. It's going to try to play this episode. I don't want it to. Here we go. He runs Power Athlete John. Power Athlete Radio. John Wellborn. John Wellborn. I think he was primarily on the Eagles. I think he was Eagles. Was he offensive line? Lou says, hope everyone has a great day, and I hope everyone's weekend is even better. Thank you, Lou. And he says, you too. I dropped flags in the store yesterday, so if you want a whistle flag in your school or somewhere else, you can get one of those now. If those sell, we'll do some fun designs with those, because flags are kind of cool. Right? If you want to support us, remember, you've got a bunch of ways you can do that. You can join the Patreon. You can use the code FIRSTCUP15 at whistlekick.com for a flag or something else. Or you can check out the family page, whistlekick.com/family. I update it weekly. It is worth doing. There's always little bonus stuff in there. And it's funny how few people seem to look at it. I look at the numbers. I test you guys once in a while. Some of you do, these little kind of secret handshakes back. I know you're checking out that page, and that means a lot to me. Remember, we are the only, as far as I know, martial arts morning show airing live 6:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. As a reminder, if you have a Twitch account, please start doing double duty, or at least just watch on Twitch. It would mean a lot to me. We currently have an average of 0.2 viewers per broadcast. That average needs to be 3. So I need like 5 of you to watch on Twitch, just like as a habit. So please, those of you who watch from a computer, if you also have a phone, that would be the easiest thing. Just have the Twitch app on your phone and go when the notification comes up, and just mute it and put it over there, and then you can sit at the computer. Okay. Dennis says, yeah. All right. You all have a great day, great weekend. I'm going to see you back here on Monday. And thank you. Dennis says, I can run First Cup on 2 devices. Not a problem. Thank you, my friend. That means a lot. You can probably run both apps, but I don't know if it's going to count it. If there's anything I can do for you, let me know. I'm here. Take care, everybody. Peace.